Hi guys, this is Haris Sultan and I've got another good news for you. The birthplace of Islam, Saudi Arabia, is being run by a man which I have believed for a very long time that he's an ex-Muslim. And not just an ex-Muslim, but an atheist as well. So even though I had this inkling, but I didn't have any evidence for that, but the evidence has been lying in plain sight for so long. I just found this video that was published nearly 5 years ago by a Saudi man where he's saying that he heard from a former CIA spy who is now a US congressman. He told this guy what? Have a listen to it.
أحد ضباط السي اللي أصبح الآن عضو في الكونغرس تكلم قال قابلت محمد بن سلمان قبل سنة ونص تقريبا شخصيا بيني وبينه وحكى لي كلام خطير. هو بنفسه يقول قال لي المشكلة ليست في المتطرفين والمشكلة ليست في الجماعات الجهادية المشكلة في الإسلام نفسه.
Wow, this is exactly how an ex-Muslim's mind works. This is exactly what we say. It's not about these radical Muslims, these jihadis, these extremists. They're just the symptoms of a much bigger disease, which is this ideology that we all call Islam. Where does jihad come from? Why does a man become a jihadi? After reading Islam, he becomes a radical extremist. He becomes a fundamentalist. And then he goes out in the big wide world and he causes what we call corruption. Yeah. So this is what MBS is saying to a former CIA operative who is now a US congressman.
وعلينا أن عليكم أن تتعاونوا معنا أيها الحكومات الغربية حتى نساعد في تغيير الإسلام نفسه. فهو الرجل الآن يصرح لهذا الشخص ما لم يصرحه لغيره أنه يجد في المشكلة في الإسلام نفسه.
So not only the fact that he's an ex-Muslim atheist, but he also wants the West's support to help him reform Islam.
فالرجل قد نذر نفسه من أجل أن يغير الدين والعياذ بالله حتى يخلص الدين يخلص المسلمين. يعني اكتنفه جنون العظمة فظن أنه سيفعل ما لم يفعله الأوائل. لكنك ليس من الواقعي أن تغير الإسلام نفسه. ما تستطيع، يعني مهما بذلت جهدا لن تستطيع أن تغير الإسلام نفسه. ما 1400 سنة جربها غيرك وجربها آخرون حتى في بداية الإسلام ولم يستطيعوا.
And then he goes on to say that, oh, look, people have tried that before. It hasn't happened before. This guy is crazy. He's a fool. And it's never going to happen again. Well, there is a key difference that these people always overlook. And this hubris is fast becoming the cause of their downfall. As I've shown this Pew survey before, from 2017, mind you, there has been a net deficit of people leaving Islam than people converting to Islam. For example, if 40,000 people converted to Islam, then 200,000 people left Islam. And that's a Pew survey from 2017 in Europe. Imagine how bad it is going to be now. It reminds me of an interesting quote from Mariam Namazi, who said that social media is doing to Islam what printing press did to Christianity. Unfortunately, printing press could not damage Islam the way it damaged Christianity because, first of all, the Ottomans didn't even introduce the printing press for another 100 years or so because they said that Arabic is God's language and we can't cheapen it by printing it. And then secondly, literacy did not really flourish in the Muslim world. So people were not reading. So the primary understanding of Islam came from the so-called scholars of Islam. And as Yasir Qadhi said, that there are certain things that we keep to ourselves amongst our intellectual circles, certain things we don't tell the ordinary public. If we had a culture of reading and writing as it was in the West, then this apostasy movement would have started a lot earlier in the Muslim world, but it didn't happen. And it still hasn't happened in the Muslim world. So, okay, the printing press didn't do anything to Islam, but social media is definitely doing it. Yes, Muslim might not be very fond of reading and writing, but they're very fond of using technology. They're very fond of absorbing content. That's where we come in. The ex-Muslim movement started roughly around 2007 and 2008. And look at this. Look at us. Just 15 years later, there is a wave of people leaving Islam, and it's only going to get worse. And people like MBS are going to help us. No, I'm actually getting worried. He might actually be aware of us ex-Muslims. Ooh. There's a saying in Indian and Pakistani that you should neither be friends nor enemies with kings. Because if you're friends with them, then you never know when they're going to turn against you, and then you're... And if you're enemies with them, then, oh well. Then you better be friends with his enemies. Anyway, so this guy's hubris that MBS is not going to be able to do anything, he is awfully wrong. And as we know that the noose is tightening around the necks in the Western countries, it is starting to happen in the birthplace of Islam. So my question to these Islamists who want to wave the flag of Islam on Buckingham Palace and on the White House, if you can't even take care of your own house, if you can't even take care of the birthplace of Islam, then what hope in hell do you have to install Sharia in Western countries or in India or in China? It ain't gonna happen, bro. Anyway, after this, guy just goes on and rants about how MBS is a fool and is never going to succeed. I'll include the link in the description so you can watch the full video. But the bigger point here is that MBS, as we suspected, that he is an ex-Muslim and an atheist. This is why he's been taking all these steps. Just yesterday, we heard that MBS has legalized alcohol sales in the capital Riyadh. This is massive. The Quran specifically bans alcohol. And now we're going to have alcohol legally sold and consumed in the land of the Prophet himself? Ooh, this is big. Even though alcohol has been sold illegally in Saudi Arabia before, not only just for foreign diplomats, but also for princes and Saudi royalty. But now it's going to be done legally. There's a very good episode of Banged Up Abroad of some British guy who was bootlegging in Saudi Arabia, and then he gets in trouble. Very interesting show. Go check it out. But doing it openly is quite another thing altogether. And this is not the only thing that MBS has done in recent years. Ever since he practically became the ruler of Saudi Arabia, he's taken multiple steps in modernizing Saudi Arabia. Because he understands one thing, that you can either be a modern, progressive society in the 21st century, or you can be an Islamic society. I mean, these guys are still debating whether they should marry little girls or not. They're debating whether 50% of your population should go to schools or not. They're debating whether you should flog and stone adulterers to death or not. I mean, Islam leads you to medieval barbarity. And if you want to thrive and prosper in the 21st century, you have to let go of these medieval barbaric principles. One way to do that is that you confine Islam to the confines of your houses. You want to bang your head on the ground 5 times a day, go do it. Nobody cares. But do it in the confines of your houses. You can't do that in public. So MBS understands this. And this is not the only step that he's taken. He brought Justin Bieber, Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, all these people to Saudi Arabia. Fully sold out concerts. He's legalized cinemas. Cinemas were not allowed in Saudi Arabia. Now you can watch movies in Saudi Arabia. And they plan to increase the number of screens to 2,000 in every city of Saudi Arabia. Women were allowed to drive in 2018. 2018, yes, 2018. The Saudis allowed women to drive. But anyway, better late than never. We'll take it, yeah? All of these things have been done under MBS. And the funny thing is that MBS has actually faced a lot of opposition from Wahhabis, from these hardcore religious nutbags. But the guy, he's no softie, he's no Democrat. He rules with iron fist. And the good thing is he's a young man. He's only 40 years old. So he's going to be around for a long, long time. Albeit he doesn't get assassinated, which I don't think he would, because he doesn't trust anyone. You can't be a softie and then fight against radical Islam. You can't do that. So you actually need to be a tough man. You need to be a strong man. And you need to be somewhat brutal and barbaric yourself. Yes, I know what he did in Yemen. I know what he did to Jamal Khashoggi. So, you know, I'm not going all chummy with him. But it's just ironic that the birthplace of Islam is actually being ruled by an ex-Muslim atheist, like one of us. Yes, he's just a little bit harsher than us, but he's an ex-Muslim atheist. So, woo, what are you going to do, my dear Muslims? Our guy is actually ruling the birthplace of your prophet. I wouldn't be surprised if he bans Hajj altogether in a few years. Actually, no, he wouldn't do that because that's just unnecessary. Even if I was the king of Saudi Arabia, I would say, okay, you know what, you can do this. And also, in the meantime, we can make a lot of money through it. Through your stupidity, we can make billions of dollars. So I would let them do it. But other than that, no, we're going to have music concerts, we're going to have movies, we're going to have parties, we're going to have alcohol, we're going to have everything. And there's nothing you can do about it. So Ali Dawa, what did you say? That people like us should be killed and you'll be watching.
This is a part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah, there's a reason why there's a capital punishment, because people like you, little weaklings who leave their religion and cause corruption in the land by spreading it, the capital punishment in Islamic law would be applied to you. We have no doubt, and we're proud of that. Yeah, capital punish will be applied in an Islamic state, and we, you know what, we'll be watching. We'll be watching. We'll be watching.
Well, guess what? Now your prophet's birthplace is being ruled by one of our guys, and we are watching. So I hope you liked today's video. Like, share and subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to support my work, you can be my patron by going to patreon.com/Haris Sultan, where you can connect with me, where you can watch my videos before they're released to public, and some other benefits as well. Or you can just buy me a coffee. 1, 5, 10, 15. The sky's the limit. Until next time, Tala. If you'd like to support my work, you can become my patron by going to patreon.com/Haris Sultan, or you can simply buy me a coffee.